Welcome back friends. Welcome back in another video tutorial from microbiology with Shagnik. So today we will going to extend our discussion of plant cell wall that we have already started in our previous lecture on plant cell wall. So first a quick recap on what we have discussed in our previous video. That is, first we have to know that there are two type of plant tissue. One is meristematic tissue, another one is simple permanent tissue. And actually meristematic tissue after growth and division converted into simple permanent tissue. Now in that particular video which I am talking about, we have discussed about the three type of tissue. One is parenchyma. This parenchyma you will find in every part of the plant, and it is mainly involved in food storage, and it is made up of thin cellulosic wall. Then we have also talked about collenchyma, which is mainly found in cambial cell, and it is involved in food storage, and it is made up of thick cellulosic wall. And at last we have talked about sclerenchyma, which is found in vascular bundles, especially in xylem and phloem, and it is involved in mechanical support and storage function. And most importantly, it is made up of lignin. That is why we are calling sclerenchyma as lignified tissue. So now we will going to talk about the gross structure of plant cell wall. So let's get started with today's topic. So here I have made this plant cell wall gross structure like a difference between, but although it is not exactly difference between, here I have tried to explain you the primary cell wall and secondary cell wall of plant cell wall in such a way so that it will be easy for you guys to remember. So first of all, plant cell wall, when we will going to talk about the gross structure of plant cell wall, we have to talk about two things. One is primary cell wall, which will be synthesized first, and then secondary cell wall, which will be synthesized after primary cell wall. Okay, so first primary cell wall. Let's get talk about primary cell wall. So it will first form cell wall, and it will be deposited on either side of the middle lamella. So for understanding the middle lamella, we will going to use a picture. So let's see this picture which I have drawn for you. So here there is actually two plant cell. One is this one, another one is this one. And you can see that two plant cell are joined, or two plant cell have a common layer, which is this one, right? And this one is known as middle lamella. So our primary cell wall will be deposited on either side of the middle lamella. That means this two part is actually primary cell wall. Okay, so that is the idea. Now the thickness of primary cell wall, if we talk about the thickness of primary cell wall, then normally the thickness is 1 micrometer. Okay, and it may up to 10 micrometer when especially we are talking about cambial cell. Okay, so cambial cell means collenchyma, right? So 10 micrometer will be thickness of primary cell wall in case of collenchyma. Along with that, when we talk about cuticularized tissue, the thickness will be more. Okay, so cuticularized tissues are water resistant tissue. Okay, remember it. So cuticularized cell walls are water resistant, and that is why they have more thickness. Now you may find primary cell wall in meristematic tissue, which I have just talked about. When the plant tissue are in actively growing and differentiation condition, we will talk it as a meristematic tissue, as well as cambial cells, as well as root hairs, and other many important part of the plant you may found primary cell wall. Now primary cell wall is made up of what? Primary cell wall is actually made up of cellulose. Okay, and now what is the function of the primary cell wall? So the function of the primary cell wall is very normal. That is the generalized function, for example, to protect the cell, as well as storage function. Okay, so that is all about our primary cell wall. So for a quick recap, primary cell wall will be deposited on either side of the middle lamella, right? The thickness is 1 micrometer generally, but it may up to 10 micrometer when we are talking about what? Collenchyma. So along with that, cuticularized cell wall are more thicker. And now when we will going to talk about the composition of the primary cell wall, so it is composed of solely cellulose. Primary cell wall, you may find primary cell wall in meristematic tissue as well as cambial cell as well as root hair and any other part of the plant. And the function is general function, for example, to protect the cell as well as storage function, right? So that is the primary cell wall. Now, in the inner part of the primary cell wall and just beside the cytoplasm, there is another layer of cell wall which we will call as secondary cell wall. That means this part is your secondary cell wall. Okay, and this secondary cell wall will be formed after primary cell wall. Okay, and it usually consists of three layers: S1, S2, S3. S1 is the outer layer, you can see it is the first layer from the primary cell wall, and S2 is the middle layer, and S3 is the innermost layer just beside the cytoplasm. Okay, so in case of secondary cell wall, the composition of the polysaccharide or the composition of the secondary cell wall is quite different from what we have studied in case of primary cell wall. In case of secondary cell wall, it is composed of various type of polysaccharide including hemicellulose, lignin, pectin, then xylan, proteins and phenolics. Okay, and its main function is to provide mechanical support. Okay, and the composition of polysaccharides or the various component of polysaccharide, for example, xylan, pectin, protein, phenolics, then hemicellulose, lignin, we have talked about, they are deposited in variety of arrangements. Okay, that is very, very important to understand. So these arrangements are annular, reticulate, pitted and spider. Okay, that is the arrangement by which in secondary cell wall polysaccharides are deposited. Okay, so that is all about overall the secondary cell wall. So secondary cell wall, for a quick recap, is formed after the primary cell wall. It is deposited in between the primary cell wall and the cytoplasm, and it is having three different layers: S1, which is the outermost layer, S2, which is at the middle, and S3, which is the innermost layer. The composition of the secondary cell wall are mainly polysaccharide, for example, hemicellulose, lignin, pectin, proteins, xylans, and phenolics, and their main function is to provide mechanical support, and most importantly, they will deposited in variety of manner, for example, annular manner, reticulate arrangement, pitted arrangement, spiral arrangement, especially in and around the vascular bundle, and that is all about our secondary cell wall. Okay, so that is the idea of primary cell wall and secondary cell wall. And in the next video, we will going to enter more deep of the plant cell wall, where we will going to talk about the chemical composition of the plant cell wall in details and the ultrastructure of the plant cell wall. So till then, bye bye. So you may use this chart that I have prepared for you for better understanding of the topic. So bye bye.